In question number 5, they ask us to find the volume of a cylinder. The radius is 7, so this is 7 right here. And the height is 18. So I'm going to write the formula first and then substitute in. So when I substitute in, I get pi times 7 squared times 18. So it's really 49 times 18, and I'm going to use my calculator to get that answer. The final answer in terms of pi is 882 pi. Again, sometimes you're asked to find the answer to a nearest decimal, so you would have to replace pi and multiply it. In question number 6, they say the diameter of a soccer ball is 22. Well, as soon as I read that the diameter is 22, I know that means the radius is just 11. So that's really what I'm going to use. They ask us how much air in cubic inches is inside the soccer ball. So they're asking us to find the volume. They tell us to use pi as 3.14 and then round to the nearest answer, whole number. So I'm going to find the volume formula first. So I'm now going to use my calculator to find the total answer to this, including putting pi in. So I'm going to do that real quickly. And again, that's 11 to the third power. I'm going to multiply it by 4. I'm going to multiply the top by pi and divide my answer by 3. When you do that, I get 5,575.3. And when they say the nearest whole number, I'm going to round this like a dollar to 5,575. That's how many cubic inches of air would be inside that soccer ball. In question number 7, it says find the volume of a square-based pyramid. And the fact that they say it's square is very important, because if you notice, they only gave us a 20 here. So that means if it's square, this is also 20. To find the volume, we use the area of the base shape, which in our case is a square. So I'm going to do 20 times 20. But then we have to multiply by the height, and the height is 6. So my final answer for the volume of that pyramid is 2,400, or 2,400. In question number 8, it says that the drumstick below has a diameter of 10. Again, remember, we always want to use the radius for our formulas usually. So the radius must be 5, and the height is 18. That means straight from here to here. And then the question says, how much ice cream is inside? Well, that's an English way of saying what is the volume. So the volume formula for a cone, remember, is pi times radius squared times height, all divided by 3. So I'm going to plug those in real quickly. When I plugged those into the calculator, I did 5 squared, which was 25. I multiplied by 18. I divided the answer by 3, and at the end there's still a pi. So I got an answer of 150 pi. Sometimes we like you to multiply it out, so you would just use 3.14. In question number 9, it says, what 3D or three-dimensional geometric figure is created by rotating a rectangle around the x-axis? So I want to draw a picture so I know what they're talking about. So first of all, if I have an x and a y-axis, this is the x-axis. They said that there is a rectangle. So maybe I'm going to make a rectangle that looks like this. This is going to spin or rotate around this axis in 3 dimensions. And I'm hoping the picture you will see is that you will get something that looks like a cylinder. So the answer is B. In question number 10, they tell us 2 similar shapes. That means they're the same shape but a different size, have a scale factor of 1 to 7. So I'm going to write out all of the ratios. I don't know how your teachers do this, but I have my students put S for side, P for the perimeter ratio, A for the area ratio, and V for the volume ratio. Some of your teachers write R, that's also R squared, and R cubed. So what I have my students do is I have them start with what we're told, which is the scale factor, or the side factor, is 1 to 7. It turns out that the perimeter ratio is always the same, but to get the area you have to square it. So it would be 1 times 1 is 1, and 7 squared is 49. And the last one, to get the volume, you always go back to the side ratio and raise it to the third power. 1 times 1 times 1 is 1, and 7 to the third is 343. And we'll probably use these ratios to answer a question in a minute. So the first thing they said in part A is, what is the perimeter ratio? And the answer is just 1 to 7. The area ratio would be 1 to 49. That means 49 of the little shapes would fit in the big one. And the volume ratio is 1 to 343. And that means if you took one of them, you could pour in 343 of them to get to the larger volume. Part D says that the small shape has a perimeter of 12. Find the perimeter of the larger shape. Well, the reason why I wrote out all these ratios is because I have a perimeter ratio. So all we're going to do is answer the question using ratios. They said that the perimeter, which is a ratio of 1 to 7, the smaller shape has a perimeter of 12. Well, the smaller number between 1 and 7 is 1. So the small goes here, and the bottom is what we're looking for, the larger one. So all you do is cross multiply, and you get 84. So the perimeter of the larger shape would be 84 inches. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the other two. The next question says that we have, if the small shape has an area of 54. Well, now what we need to do is use our area ratio. So I'm not using the 1 to 7 anymore. So to do part E, I'm going to use my area ratio of 1 to 49. They said the small shape has an area of 54. Well, that goes with the smaller number, and since 1 is smaller, the 54 goes with the small number. To find x, all we have to do is cross multiply. So the answer to part E is 2,646. And then the last question says if the shape has a volume of 100, well, that means I need to use the volume ratio, and the volume ratio is 1 to 343. They said if the larger shape has a volume of 100, well, the larger needs to go on the bottom then, and the smaller needs to go on top. So the large number goes with the 100. To solve, we're going to cross multiply, and this answer is going to be a decimal. So I have 343x equals 100. I'm going to divide by 343. It's about a third. And when I divide, I should get about 0.3 on the calculator. So when I divided out this fraction, I got a very small decimal, about 0.2915.